terms of how we're going to get a goal, how are we going to get into good spots? Is it in that transition game? Is it when they're overexposed or unbalanced in terms of their attack? I mean, where do you think we're actually going to get real chances from? Is it from mistakes from them? Is it as simple as that?
Well, it's why I say Weah has to play a 9, because you need someone who has the pace to get into the channel. And you play it into the channel, then you can move the lines up. You can get players into support. If Aronson's playing the 10, I like his movement. He's one of those players that follows up the play. He typically will always be underneath Weah. No matter where Weah is running, he loves to be that option because he gets there. And then Gio Reyna, so comfortable in the ball, the higher up the pitch you get him, and the more central, because he typically likes to come central. He fancies himself as an attacking midfielder. So him on the ball, he's able to play those passes. We've seen him be able to find the opposite side winger just in games with Dortmund. So Christian, Aronson, continuing to make runs off of Weah. Weah can hold up the ball. I think he's strong enough to do it. He's been able to score goals with the ball at his feet and making and dribbling at defenders. He's also making those sharp little runs in the box. It's time. It's time to put him in as the 9. And then you get more talented players in the midfield who are able to play out of pressure, to dribble out of pressure, because you're going to have to play those quick 1-2s to really get him behind England.
Well, that's well said, Charlie. Now, real quick, everybody, the soccer world's eyes are focused on Qatar for the biggest event on the global stage. So stay up to date with every story and every heart-pounding moment with the Golazo Starting 11 newsletter from CBS Sports. It's your ultimate guide to the beautiful game, taking you beyond the pitch and around the globe with expert analysis of everything you need to know in the world of soccer. So sign up today for free at cbssports.com/Golazo. Once again, it's Golazo Starting 11 newsletter, and you can sign up for free at cbssports.com/GOLAZO. Now, Charlie, back to the subject at hand here. Is there anything that you're actually worried about? Looking back at this, I know we want to look forward, but looking back at this game, was there anything that you felt, man, this team's not ready, or they are exposed? We've got a lot of quality in the team, or there's something that we can't prepare for. There's just natural vulnerabilities in the squad that England's going to execute on.
Yes, I was disappointed in our service on set pieces, free kicks, corner kicks. Not good enough. Not good enough. You are not going to progress in this tournament if you are not effective on dead balls and set pieces. It's just not going to happen. And then to be up a goal in the World Cup in the 82nd minute and you fall asleep on a throw-in, that can't happen. I don't care how quick the throw-in is taken. It's in your defensive third. You cannot allow a player to pick up the ball and then another player to run into open space to eventually lead to the PK that we gave up where Walker's.
That's basics, by the way, especially at that point in the game, and Kellen Acosta on the field. I mean,
so that's disappointing to me. The set pieces, the switching off in the last 10 minutes of the match, which cannot happen, and then I would say just the substitutions and the mentality, right? So the mentality, you're up a goal. Wales are offering you nothing, especially in the first half. You get that early goal. Keep going. They're still sticking to the same tactics. They're still sitting in their defensive third. We have to keep going. We didn't create enough opportunities through different ways in the second half. We stopped really attacking because we were okay with the 1-0 lead. We settled for it. We were okay with winning. And I want to see this team say, let's go 2, let's go 3, let's keep adding. Yes, we have to be basically smart in the way we do that. We can't just throw numbers forward and like, let's keep going and open ourselves up. But at the same time, they didn't have anyone that was threatening. Yeah. And then they bring in Kiefer Moore. Kiefer Moore is not a sprinter. It's not that you didn't change Daniel James for Kiefer Moore to say, oh, we need another player who can just run. He was there just to be a presence. Let me occupy a center back or two. Let me keep the ball for our team. And we allowed him to do that. Get in front of him. One behind, one in front, not lock him out. He's not going to run into the channel. He's not going to outrun anybody, but we allowed him to get into the game and allow him to connect passes. And then as soon as they started to get confidence in possession in our half, we just said, all right, guys, time to just defend and lock this game down. That's not the mentality we need against the opponent in the first game of the World Cup where we have a 1-0 lead. 10 minutes left, sure, lock it down. But when you say lock it down, that means lock it down. That
Right.
means there's no throw in. Somebody's jumping in front of the guy. You're taking a yellow. Boom, right there. I'm not allowing you to throw it in quick.
Well, it definitely seems also that you got to take what the game gives you, right? There was opportunities that we were in the attack or in attacking situations near in and around the goal area, but we didn't bring those attacks to a conclusion. We didn't take the risks or the chances. We just sort of kept possession or didn't play the right ball. And I feel like that was a learning moment for us to know that those could have been more chances. Those could have been more goals if we took those risks. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're exposed. Yes, they're in transition. Yes, we don't want to turn it into a marathon, but like you said, it wasn't for a lack of getting in decent spots. It was just for a lack of knowing what to do or being willing to take the risk once you get in that position.
And Heath, you brought up the point about Weah and Sargent and being in the same spaces and the runs. I actually watched the game over, and I was pretty critical of Josh Sargent right immediately after the game. But in watching it over, there were times where he made the run, but no one played that ball. They didn't pass it to him. So at that point, you're like, I made the good run. I was open.
What is that coming from the back? Was it mostly coming from the back line, not willing to hit that long ball and turn it over like a low risk ball?
It was midfield and back line. It was both.
Well, Pulisic had a bunch where he didn't release him off his foot when he had chances and springing out on the counter. But again, that's one of those things where you expect him to deliver those balls. If you've seen a lot of these goals that have been scored in transition so far, it's getting that ball into that spot, turning upfield, and then releasing it to allow somebody to go one-on-one and try to create that next angle to try to score a goal.
Right. And then I would say there was a play in the second half. Serginho Dest gets on the ball. He looks up. You have Sargent making the peeling run from the center out to the right channel. And you have Weah, who's tiptoeing the line, making the run into the same right channel. So you have two players making the same run. And if Weah is a player who's always making that run into the channel, then your center forward can't be doing that, right? So that's why I also think that Weah should move to the center forward position, because now you have Christian, and whether you want to go with Reyna centrally or on the right, I would think on the right, you have Aronson underneath. Those two players aren't operating in that space. They come inside. So you now have that center forward who's able to make those peeling runs in the channel, keep the ball, knock it back. The team advances. Then he's able to get back into the midfield, into the middle of the box as the ball kind of circulates around the team to the opposite side. And then that's when the whipped in ball comes in. But it's got to be quicker. And I think we were too hesitant. Like you said, they weren't playing that ball. They were too hesitant. And then they opted for the safe pass.
Yeah. And at this level, that safe pass changes everything, right? Keeping possession, I thought, was something that this team suffered from a lot. Even in the first half, it was like we were willing to keep possession for the sake of possession, but not necessarily probe or make teams fear you. But that's where a Gio Reyna on the field changes things, because he'll run at you, combination play, forcing them to have to turn around and kind of track back on things, which could be dangerous. Charlie, any other topics you wanted to cover in terms of this preview before we start to wrap this up?
No, I'm hopeful that this team has learned a lot from the game against Wales, also the game against Saudi Arabia and Japan, which I think they did in the first half. You could see Walker Zimmerman was not attempting to just make the game like he did in earlier matches. He knew his strengths. He said, I'm going to play that easy pass to Tyler Adams, who's checking, or to Serginho Dest, or give it to the other center back in Tim Ream, who's going to make those passes and who can connect those passes, who's capable of doing it and doing it consistently. So I like that from Walker Zimmerman, to see that growth. Stick to what you're good at. You're good at winning balls in the air. You're good at making those tough challenges and sacrificing your body. You're not the best at building out of the back with the ball at your feet. Yeah. So that was good. Tim Ream was hitting those long switches. And then I think Tyler Adams took a step up and just coming back for the ball and not just checking with his back to goal. He was coming on the half turn so he could see what was open, what wasn't, and have an idea of where he wanted to go. So those ideas in that first 45, I said, okay, this is it. But England pose a completely different problem. And so I hope that they've been watching video of Iran, because Iran did find those openings, even though they were down. They were down 3-0 at one point, 4-0, 5-1, 6-2. But that's how you can get at them. Then just look at all the Nations League games where they've struggled. They give up opportunities, but you just have to make sure that you're doing everything you can to not only do your job defending, but also be someone who can help provide the help, support in defending for your teammates.
Well, again, I know it's minimal and it's not really that relative, but what we have seen from Saudi Arabia, from Japan, is that upsets are possible. We've seen that teams that have come in as the Giants are as favorites in the tournament, right? With all the hoopla around Argentina and this being the tournament for Messi and how good they are as one of the favorites. And obviously, I haven't been that hot on them, even though they did win Copa America. But they show that there are some vulnerabilities, and it only takes a few minutes to turn a team upside down.